Hi there. I have just finished this fun project of Endless Rose Cowl by Jeffrey Wall. It was a workshop that he taught here in Grand Forks, and it's also a pattern that's available on Ravelry for sale. So I've finished my knitting. I knitted a long tube. This cowl now has to be seamed end to end in grafting. So I prepared, I've taken out my provisional cast on, which was up at this end, and put my stitches back on a long needle, same size needle that I knitted with, but just a longer needle, and set it up so that the first stitch is the first stitch of the row. And I've done that for the next to the last row of the cowl. I left one row undone, that last round undone. That is the round I'm going to graft. So I've got that all lined up here with the first stitch ready to go. So let's see, some notes for you. So plan, when you're finished your knitting, just before, plan to leave the last chart row around unworked. That row will be grafted to the first row. Leave 2 yarn lengths, one of each color, about 80 inches long for grafting. Block and weave all your other ends before you graft, because once you graft, it's harder to block, and you won't see the ends inside. You won't be able to get to them. So we've transferred our both ends onto needles. Arrange them so they're ready to start that first round. And okay, so we're going to hold, I'll show you how to hold it. And then it's a 4-step process for each stitch. And I'll just tick off each one as I go, just to help me keep track, because there's so much going on here. So I'm going to take and bring the two tube ends together. My yarn ends are in the middle of my needles and off to the left. And then my main color, which is in this case the white, will come down, stay up towards the bottom. The black, which is my contrasting color, threaded needle, will stay up here. And I'm ready to go. So my yarn is between my needles when it's not being used. Let's see. So I'm going to start with this. This is a black stitch. So it's a 4-step process, and I'll take you through it. Purl through the front stitch and leave it on. Purl through the back stitch and take it off. Knit the back stitch and leave it on. Knit the front stitch and take it off. So I'm starting with a black stitch. So I'll pick up my black. See, the two wrong sides of the tube are facing each other. Bring your stitches up closer to the needle tips. Purl the front and leave it on. Give it a little gentle tug. Purl the back and take it off. Knit the back and leave it on. Knit the front and take it off. Now that was a black stitch. The next stitch in my yarn will come between my needles and sit up there. My contrasting color will come from between the needles, and that next stitch is a white stitch. I will do the same process, 4-step process for this stitch. So it's going to be purl into the front and leave it on. Give it a gentle tug. Purl into the back and take it off. Knit into the back and leave it on. And knit into the front and take it off. So that was four steps for one stitch. I'm just going to tick that off. Then I have three more white stitches to do. So again, purl through the front and leave it on. Purl the back stitch and take it off. Knit into the back stitch and leave it on. And knit into the front stitch and take it off. Knit-wise, slip that stitch off. So that's another white gone. Next stitch is a white stitch. Purl into the front and leave it on. Don't let that cross over your needles. Purl into the back and take it off. Knit into the back and leave it on. And knit into the front and take it off. One more white stitch. Purl into the front and leave it on. Purl into the back and take it off. Knit into the back and leave it on of the next stitch. And knit into the front and take it off. And at this point, you can look back, and if your stitches look like they need cinching up, you can just go back and tighten them up a little bit. So I'm going to go across this row, and then I have several repeats, so I'll do that, I think 3 or 4 times. And I will show you what it looks like when it's done.